On today's show,
Kevin Durant torches his old team once again, while Westbrook vows revenge against Zaza.
we discuss the Kings' playoff chances, Embiid's all-star hopes, and what to call this.
And the greatest travel ever shines in a brand new edition of the Meme Team.
It's Thursday, January 19th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast, joining us live right now on NBA TV, or later on YouTube, we're happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
The final fan vote is in. People hate my intros.
Two is right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily. And last, certainly not least, over there, it's the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey
Yo! TK, what do you got?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, we've seen a ton of bizarre in-game promotions during NBA games throughout the years, but the latest from the Charlotte Hornets might take the cake.
You have to do jumping jacks for the rest of the third quarter. And Trey, if you can do this, we're gonna hook you up with wings for an entire year. Do you think you have what it takes?
For sure.
He said for sure. So fans, keep your eye on him. Make sure he's moving. Are you ready? Go ahead and start, Trey. Go ahead and start. I'll start. Yep. Fans, keep your eye on him and make sure he does this in the entire quarter.
I love this. It's a guy named Trey doing jumping jacks for a half an hour to win wings for a year. Right up my alley, but also super weird. And it brings us to today's question. What's the strangest in-game promotion you've ever seen? And one that sticks out to me is the Grizzlies' Shots for Tots campaign from a couple years ago. A guy hit a half-court shot, and all he won was tater tots for life. You can win $1 million making a half-court shot, or a car, or a TV.
He's pretty happy, though.
Yeah, I mean, he did get a single medium order of Sonic tater tots every week for the rest of his life. Wonder if he ever cashed them in. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter. What's the strangest in-game promotion you've ever seen? Send us your best tweets to hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get those tweets in. We got to play a little fill in the blank tonight. We got a new edition of the Meme Team, but we start with Is This News? Trey's rounded up some headlines. He's going to pitch them to us. We'll break it down on whether or not they're actually news. Trey, first headline.
All right, our first headline comes from Sports Illustrated, and it says, Westbrook vows revenge against Pachulia for hard foul. Is this news?
No, it's not news. NBA player mad because another NBA player stood over him? Of course that's not news. And he just learned of it that second as well. He wasn't so mad during the game, but someone had just shown him the video as he was being interviewed. So, of course he's mad about that and about losing a game sort of embarrassingly. He didn't take it out on Zaza whatsoever.
He didn't know what was happening,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
I mean, he was rolling on the ground. He got
laying
popped in the
face
face.
down.
I think his eyes were watering a little bit, and then he didn't know that Pachulia stepped over him. The biggest
Yep.
news of this whole thing to me is where are the other Thunder players, especially Cantor there, as the biggest guy on the floor. There's no Adams on the floor at that point, of course. Why aren't they running in and pushing Zaza Pachulia away? You gotta do that. I
agree
that's just
with
sort
that.
of the unwritten rule when your star player has been fouled. By the way, I don't even think it was a flagrant foul. I think it should have been a common foul and then probably a technical for flaunting because he stepped over.
Flaunting?
Well,
Taunting.
Excuse me. He was flaunting a little bit as he was taunting. But someone's got to run in and push Pachulia out of the way. Someone absolutely has to do that.
I agree with that. I don't think Cantor saw what happened
Maybe not.
whatsoever, but I totally agree with
Yeah.
that. You gotta go old school,
just
go
push
grade
him.
school, just a push.
Just
That's
push.
it.
I don't quite get, though, why he even stood over him in the first place. Because, I mean, what was he trying to sort of say to Russell Westbrook? Like,
I think he was saying,
he was
I wasn't
standing up for-
maliciously trying to pop you in the face. I wasn't trying
Yeah.
to nail you. What are you doing?
Well, I
What
think
are you
he's
doing
also
now?
standing up for Kevin Durant. I mean, this is entirely known between the two teams that there is a feud between the two of them. Although, they've been good at sort of silencing it as much as people ask them 6,000 times a
Right,
day about
right.
it. I mean, not a lot has come out about it. It's been fairly solid that in the way that they've handled it, in my opinion.
but isn't it up to Durant then, if he's got a problem with Westbrook, to deal with and not have Pachulia go and just take a shot at him like that? I mean, I just don't quite get it. And then afterwards, when Russ was asked about it, I know it was at the heat of the moment, he said, yeah, I'll get him back. That's unusual for a player to sort of say that so openly to the media when everyone's there, because I don't think the NBA will look into this any further. But for a guy to say, I'm going to get him back.
You're right. Because what does revenge mean in this case? Does that mean like he's going to dunk on Pachulia? Does it mean he's going to go drop 50 in a triple-double when they play on February?
No.
Or does it mean, like you're saying, I think here, Lee, Like, now that Westbrook has said that, even if he accidentally, let's say, hits Pachulia or someone else, of course, on the Warriors in that game in February 11th in OKC, the NBA is going to go a little overboard, probably fairly, because he said this. He sort of made himself, in a way, a bit of a marked man. Like, look at me, I'm going to do something here.
To quote him here, I'm going to get his butt back, whatever that is. I don't know what it's going to be, but I don't play that game.
Well, by saying
that, he does play that game because he just said it. Second thing, Zaza Pachulia knows his role in this league. And that's what it is. I mean, it's being a tough guy, setting big picks. He said, I've been in this league 14 years. 14 years. He's been in the league a long time. He was part of that 03 great draft. He was a part of it, second round anyway. But he knows his role in this league. And also, that's a good thing. And another good thing that came out of this headline, watch Durant, Westbrook appear to talk to each other because there was a clip of them getting close to each other, and they exchanged a few words here. Obviously, I think it was a "Hey, you straight? Are we friends?" kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't think they are.
Did you get my text message in the summary saying, "Yeah, I got it." Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, then you saw after the game, of course, Westbrook. It appears to tell his teammates, Cantor obviously included, don't shake hands, don't say hi to Durant and the Warriors. They're the enemy.
Wow.
And all that. I mean, I love it. This is good.
We're like the E Network.
No, we don't have a lot of this in the NBA. I don't mind when either players or teams actually genuinely dislike each other. Well, it's fun.
It's entirely fun. I think KD, I don't know if he has a dislike for anybody, really, in this situation. Like, the feud isn't necessarily KD and Russ. It's more Zaza and Russ.
KD just hates the media.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. All right, next headline here.
You think we're at the E Network now? Just wait till later. Our next headline comes from the Sacramento Bee, and it reads, Gay suffers season-ending injury. Kings blow 22-point lead to end homestand. Is this news?
Yeah, this is big news. It's a tough loss for the Kings, who are amazingly in a playoff race, in one of the weirdest playoff races we've seen in a while. Just how poorly from 8 down in the West is wide open. This is a big loss. This is an 18, 19-point per game scorer, and he's done for the season with this type of injury.
He has a reputation for being a low efficient player, and a lot of people sort of pile on him, but he is their second best player. He is a good scorer. He's a career 45% shooter. I think that sometimes gets lost. People think he's a way worse shooter than he is. The Kings have already been without him for 11 games this season. They're 5-6. They're at the halfway point now. So really it comes down to now what they do, whether or not they sort of tank the rest of this season and try to keep their pick, their top 10 draft pick, or do they just try to compete and make the playoffs?
Try and make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you obviously want to see this team in the playoffs, and they're going to try to do that. Just makes it a lot harder now without Rudy.
It makes it extremely tough. This could have been the first year that DeMarcus Cousins made the playoffs in his 7-year career. This could have been the first time. You lose your second leading scorer, as you mentioned. There isn't much after that to help out, and that's why I think their playoff chances are likely done, because there's so many teams fighting for that 8th spot where the Nuggets currently are. Blazers, Pels, Mavericks, Wolves, Lakers, even down to the Suns. These guys all have a legitimate shot, and now when you lose Rudy Gay, your second best player now becomes either Darren Collison or Garrett Temple. And now you lose a trade chip as well. If they were going to think about trading Rudy Gay because he said he was going to opt out of his contract.
I mean, that's the thing now. Will he opt out?
That's exactly. By all accounts, he was going to opt out of his final year of that deal, $14.3 million, I believe, per year to try and get a big of a payday. Will he do that? What do you think? I think he still will.
I think he will too, because I didn't think that Chandler Parsons last year was going to opt out of his contract.
He might look at Wesley Matthews, who had a similar injury, and he got a big payday anyway coming out after that.
While he was injured.
Yeah, Rudy's going to be 31 at the time next season starts. That's still fairly young. A team could still offer him a decent contract. I don't think he's going to get a big fat 5-year or anything like that, but he could get a good 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
decent money.
over $10 million for
sure.
So I mean, and look, this is a guy that's made over $100 million in his career, and if he doesn't opt out, he's sort of stuck with the Kings, who, as we've gone over many times on the show, obviously haven't made the playoffs forever. When will the next time they make it even get back in there? Rudy Gay's only ever played in 7 playoff career games. That's unbelievable. He's only played once in the playoffs.
With Memphis.
So maybe he goes, he's like, well, I'll hopefully come back from this injury, and at least I can sort of pick and choose a team that I can play for and maybe play in the playoffs.
He's going to be flaunting his services this offseason.
Yeah, taunting and flaunting. All right, final one here, Trey.
Our final headline comes from The Score, and it says, Barkley might have let it slip that Embiid isn't an all-star starter. Is this news?
No,
it's funny, though.
This is just Barkley. I mean,
it's not that he even insinuated that. It's just looking into his words. You could possibly make that up, but he had no idea at the time.
Right.
It's starting to leak out there right as we speak right now, I'm sure, as the starters are going to be announced tonight. But no, this isn't news because I don't think Charles knew at the
Yeah,
time.
I think maybe the better sort of headline news portion of this whole thing, Philly.com, they sort of had a follow-up on this. Their headline reads, Charles Barkley said he had a list of NBA All-Stars. He didn't, which is good news for Joel Embiid. So, they followed up with Turner Broadcasting here. They confirmed Barkley doesn't have a list. But, because he started talking about Joel Embiid might be on his reserve picks, which obviously come out next week.
So that means he's not a starter.
That's exactly right. So, and I never really assumed he was going to be a starter, but the question
Highly
is whether
unlikely.
he'll make it with the coach's pick and whether that's the right idea.
Yeah, when you look at the starting front court, it's likely to be LeBron, Giannis, and probably Jimmy Butler, maybe Kevin Love. I don't think Joel is going to get ahead of those guys.
Right,
but
he could with the fan vote, but whether he would with the media vote and the player vote is
Media and the
question.
player, I think because he has missed games as well, I think that probably counts a little bit against him. But of course, his on-court production does certainly put him in the running for a reserve spot. There's no doubt about that.
It's been a dream season for the Sixers. ESPN is changing their schedule, their flex scheduling, to get a Sixers game later on this month, dropping a Heat Bulls game. Who would have thought that?
And rightfully so, with the way the Sixers are playing and how entertaining Joel Embiid is, for sure. We'll make our All-Star reserve picks on tomorrow's drop, by the way. But anyway, when we come back, fill in the blank fun. Thanks to Hibbert's hilarious shot. Back with the starters, time to play a little fill in the blank. Play along on Twitter, hashtag the starters. Fill in the blank with us. Trey, first one.
Turn 100 years old and James Harden will give you a basketball. At least that's what happened to Lucy Pierce, who was sitting courtside at last night's Rockets game. And to be honest, it seems like Harden might have even enjoyed this act of kindness more than she did. Fill in the blank, guys. James Harden is as happy as blank.
What do you got?
A kid meeting his hero. Because I think that's what it was. He was there, and if you can make it to 100, you're a hero in my books. And, you deserve a courtside seat at the game, and you deserve the ball.
You're almost there.
Not quite, a few more years to go.
Where do you go
I
with
hope
that?
to get there, it'd be
Here,
great.
I'm giving you this.
Oh, thanks.
I went
I'm
with
smiling. I'm meeting my hero. You're 100.
I'm not looking bad for 100.
Yeah, you look great for 100. Gigi and Zayn. No one's as happy as Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik right now.
You've been watching a lot of E-Network.
what? I mean, yeah, Harden is very happy.
She looks great for 100, though. Let's be honest.
Look at that smile. We never see James Harden smile like that.
Yeah, not often.
He's been in a good mood lately, though.
Yeah, he's dancing nonstop. They're doing well. I went with James Harden is as happy as me with my grandma. Because I am, first off, I'm blessed to have both my grandmas still alive. But
Wow.
here is my grandma. There's a pic of us on her 100th birthday.
Jeez.
Well done, Gran.
She is now 102 years old and looks even better, I kid you not, than this photo again when she was 100.
Have you taken her to a basketball game?
And the best part is, she's got a real old name.
What is it?
Mildred. No one's been named
Tell me your
Mildred since she was
Tell me your granddad's name is George, please.
No, it's not George. It's not. All right, so James Harden's happy. Next one here, Trey.
All right, what does Roy Hibbert have to do to get some press around here? Accidentally make an alley-oop that he's throwing, apparently. It happened last night against the Blazers, and even Roy got a kick out of his inadvertent 2 points. Now it just needs a name, so fill in the blank. Roy Hibbert's accidental field goal should be called a blank.
I'm not overthinking it. An alley whoop.
All right,
A
nice.
whoopsie, a whoops. An
Yeah.
alley whoops, I guess, is a better way to put it, but you get the idea. Don't overthink it. He didn't mean to put it, he's trying to throw the oop. Goes in.
Yeah.
2 points. That might have been the furthest shot he's hit.
That's a fair point.
All season, all
Yeah,
career.
nice.
What do you got?
Set
Lee?
shot too. I went for a team basket, like a team rebound. It doesn't really get credited to him because he didn't really shoot it. They still should get the 2 points. Just make a new category, a team basket. Yeah.
That's his. Give it
That's
to him.
not a bad
it's
idea.
not really though, because he was trying to pass it. So he
not
gets
a
the
bad
field goal
idea.
made, the field goal attempted. But he should get a field goal made, but not a field goal attempted.
Oh, wow.
See if Schumann can work on that.
Yeah.
Just work that into the box score. I got an ollie oop, like the skateboard move. It goes over the top and then you stick it, I mean, Skeets, you said alley whoops
Yeah.
in the office there. I mean, that one. I mean,
Yeah.
a
Alley-oop.
little
We've seen-
behind the scenes. We ad lib a lot of stuff here,
Yeah.
but we do plan some things. Here.
We saw this from Matt Barnes, like earlier this season,
Yeah.
right? And but that was the
Yeah.
one where he was like behind the 3-point line, and I think this one banks home.
Man, this was
oh,
a huge
yeah.
Barnes Yard moment.
I don't even he's sort of throwing, the oop there. Maybe he's just throwing an interior pass and it goes. Everyone has a great reaction.
I know.
when these go in though.
It's one of the funniest things that can happen.
If Robin Lopez ever did it, he'd be running down there celebrating that like he meant it on purpose.
For sure. All right, final one, Trey.
All right, final one. Last July, while I was being a responsible father to a newborn baby girl, Y'all were partying in Vegas with our friend Renee Young and the cast of E's Total Divas. The episode aired last night, and you guys were legitimately in the background of a party scene. Guys, fill in the blank. The starter's Total Divas cameo was blank.
Too brief.
Oh, funny you say that. I went short. Because, yeah, we're barely in this episode, but also Lee got into the club somehow wearing shorts.
It was Vegas in July. I mean, who isn't wearing shorts?
Yeah.
But there he is. There's the legs.
yeah.
Everywhere.
There's the legs.
Luckily, we had a connect to get us in
Yeah.
with those shorts. Otherwise, we were almost turned away.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out
we
to
were being
Renee.
turned away.
Yeah, I was ready to go home, but
I put creepy because there's some creeping happening in this clip.
Oh, there we are.
Ah, nice.
This is the photo we were taking in the
Yeah.
clip that you could see us, yeah.
no. But I said too brief because we were there for quite a few hours. The cameras are rolling the
You're
whole
the
time.
real star of Total
Cameras
Divas.
are rolling the whole time. They could have snuck a little bit more. Tass was up on the podium.
Yeah, they
going crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna go with disappointing because Task, who had turned into Gary,
Yeah.
by that point, there was some unbelievable clips.
How
they
many
could
times
use.
did the bouncers have to say, "Come on, mate,
I
get
know.
back"?
I was trying to help out the musical act. He wasn't having a great night. I was
That
just
should've
trying to
made it,
help him
though.
out.
Who
Yeah.
performed later? Was it?
I thought you guys told me that it was
Chingy. It was Chingy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Chingy.
yeah,
The one and
yeah.
only Chingy.
Task put on more of a performance than Chingy that night. There, I said it.
No,
Okay.
that's
You dare
100%
slander
true.
Chingy.
All right. When we come back, we'll take a stroll in the meme team. This gentleman in Charlotte, Trey, actually his name was, did jumping jacks for a quarter to try and win free wings for a year. We asked you, what's the strangest in-game promotion you've seen? You hit us up on Twitter, #starters. Trey.
Yeah, some good answers. This one comes from Ryan, who says the Wizards have one where a vision-impaired person has to shoot and make a free throw without glasses for free lacing. That's a great deal. We should get Lee Ellis on there. Wow, he'd take it
that,
for
yeah.
sure. Joseph says easy. The Jazz have a contest with musical chairs to win the right to sleep on the court overnight with 20 other people. Pretty creepy. And the final answer comes from John, who says, I once saw an in-game promotion for the starters. Pretty strange, huh? It's true. We've done some where I uttered the immortal line, or was it D? Charles Barkley.
Yeah, you're right.
D.
You're right.
Charles Barkley.
That's absolutely right. All right, guys, good stuff. Every Thursday, we scour the internet to bring you the meme team, our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days.
At number 5, get ready to laugh. The Nuggets Nikola Jokic makes us all chuckle with that Serbian accent and some great lines in Jokes with the Joker.
Where do pencils go for vacations? Pennsylvania. Why did the skeleton not go to the dance? Because he had nobody. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. Honeycombs? What's honeycombs?
Yeah, what are honeycombs?
Draymond Green got the best of LeBron James this week, taking down the king. Sold it a little bit, and then the internet got to work. There's your Simba from The Lion King. And the Meek Mill meets Home Alone meme, I guess, going around. There's LeBron's face on Meek Mill there.
Oh, snow job.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing people slip on ice.
You gotta get some
Scary.
salt on those things.
I don't like falling down the stairs.
At number 3, it's clear Carmelo Anthony has sensitive ears, specifically his left ear. Wednesday was just the latest episode in a left ear pain epidemic going on with Carmelo Anthony. This was earlier this season. This is incident number 2. I'll count them for you. This was November 2015, last season. Incident number 3. And this is incident number 4. Ken Maurer actually gave him a technical foul for not catching the ball. That's 4 incidents in 2.5 years.
The other night, Russell Westbrook with probably the greatest travel ever.
Oh, man.
Well, the worst travel ever, isn't it?
6-7 steps here, just doesn't dribble the ball. It's calling the play.
Just goes for a walk.
Just walk it up. Literally walk it up. Yeah, no dribbling. And then, he's still walking, by all accounts, on the street, in the park, and
Hey, guys.
up to Canada. He's everywhere. Oh, Forrest Gump, I guess, shout out.
Nice.
And of course, he got the curb treatment. Amazing.
Great stuff. At number 1, Zaza Pachulia put this hit on Westbrook Wednesday night. Stood over him. Here comes the internet. Throwing LeBron James down with him.
Just saw him.
As we saw Monday night. Then Lance Stevenson in the foreground, a Cleveland Browns player on the left there. Manny Pacquiao hits the deck.
Down goes Pacquiao.
And here's a double again. Undertaker rises from the dead in the foreground. Chris Kaman is back there when he laid on the bench. They didn't have any players. Great stuff.
The Undertaker, the only one Pachulia can't keep down.
Can't
It
keep him
makes
down.
sense. All right, one more break. When we come back, Lili's selection for very solid play of the night. Don't go anywhere. We've got good news. The NBA and the NBA Players Association have officially signed a new collective bargaining agreement. It's going to run through the 2023-24 season.
Great news.
Good stuff.
It's been ratified.
We'll have flying cars by then. All right, last night's picks. Oh, not good. We all took the Hawks. The Pistons crushed them on the home. Trey is 1-11.
I'm tanking for the first pick next
This is
month.
good for you. This is good for you, Trey.
Yep, Wizards Knicks tonight's first game on TNT. 3 of us have the Wizards. Trey, the only one.
Congrats to the Wizards tonight.
Oh man, yeah, it's been rough. All right, Lily, where are we going?
We're
from
going to
this
the
game?
Palace, and look at this beautiful pass from an unlikely source. Andre Drummond drops it through
big
to
guy.
Reggie Bullock for a lovely finish. Here it is again. Just through the traffic. Nice finish. That's beautiful. That's what I call a very solid play.
Surprised you didn't call it a Reggie Bullet.
Oh, nice. We mentioned this earlier in the show. We're going to make our All-Star Reserve picks on tomorrow's Drop podcast, so keep an eye for that on iTunes and Google Play Music. We'll tweet it out, get it up on the website. Gets up around noon, 1 p.m. Eastern. That'll be a lot of fun. When
It's a great weekend listen.
Yeah, for sure. We got some fan signs, Lee.
They're still pouring in. Max was at Madison Square Garden and he put this one together very nice. Florian, still from the London game. Another one came in there. He and his friends there. From Germany. Big Starters fans in London.
Let's get it right.
Mimi,
Let's get
Mimi
it
and
right.
Caleb, you might remember, they pretty much make a contribution to our show every year, and here they are
Oh,
again.
that is good.
I think they're
Nice.
playing favourites with Trey. That's fair enough.
Sure.
He's got a
don't blame
beautiful
him.
beard.
Beard power.
Ethan was at the Barclays Centre in Brooklyn, and Eli made the trip from Australia's second best city, Sydney, all the way to Oracle Arena for a Warriors game. And Nelson, last one, was at the Garden for a Knicks game, put together a nice colourful Starters Madison Square Garden Knicks colours sign there. Great job.
Fan signs been flying in. Keep
Yeah.
them coming, guys. Hashtag starters. Tonight's TNT doubleheader. It's the Wizards and the Knicks at that mecca of Madison Square Garden. You guys ever been there?
I have, yeah.
Second
been
game,
there.
Wolves and the Clippers. So also finding out tonight the All-Star starters on TNT. So that begins pretty soon. Enjoy it.
All right, yes, please listen to the Drop where we will pick our All-Star reserves tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, and remember, the true sign of a fan is that he brings a fan sign to a game.
Brace the night, people.